I want to introduce Erin from Vet Together, and they are one of our new partners, and we're really excited to be working with them. They are one of our major sponsors for our conference in October in New Orleans. They're helping to host us, and they have a conference that's right after ours as well. And we think a lot of you guys will be interested in what that's about.
Hi, I'm Aaron Pugh. I'm the president of Vet Together, and I'm unbelievably excited to be here and talking with both of you and talking about the partnership and explaining a little bit about our conference and seeing if it's going to be a good fit for several of your DVM moms out there.
So tell us what Vet Together is all about.
One of my favorite subjects to talk about. So Vet Together is a conference that was really focused on trying to figure out how could we create the most time-efficient, cost-effective model, particularly with doctors in mind. And how could we create a conference that would allow them to really be able to get out of their business and focus on working on their business, given what they have to go through on a day-to-day reality on what they're dealing with. Like we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but one of the real reasons why we created this is we've been in the industry now for 15. My wife's been in it for 20 years. She was a practice manager for a really long time at several hospitals and is now a director at one of the larger groups over there. So I firsthand got to experience what it was like working with a significant other who was dedicated to a hospital and all the time energy that it took to put into that. And when you look at particularly your crew of the DVM moms that are out there, many of them are doctors. Several of them own their own hospitals on top of it. So they're running a small business. And then true to your title, they're moms. So they get to go home. They got to figure out dinner. They have to do homework. They have to do all the stuff with the kids. And then their wife's on top of it, right? So your day-to-day is filled from the moment you get up and start helping kids get ready to go to school all the way through your work, which we all know as a business owner, you end up spending more time there than anybody else at the practice does. And then you have to go home. I say have to go home. Then you get to go home and then you're part of your family again, right? And so the opportunity for you to be able to find and explore and actually meet with vendors is just becoming more and more limited at this particular time in our industry. So finding a way to create a conference that would give them the opportunity to be able to get out of their hospital, get away for a little bit and actually just focus on their business and meet with vendors. And like I said, it's the most cost-effective, time-efficient way that you have the opportunity to do this. One of the things that I love best about our conference and what our real core business function of all of this is we create one-on-one meetings between decision makers at hospitals, typically the owners, the medical directors, and in some cases, the practice managers, and all of the vendors from our industry. This year's event, we're going to have somewhere between 150 to 200 vendors. All of the people that you know will be there. And what happens is about 5 weeks before our event goes off, everybody gets access into our portal. And all the doctors get to go through and see all the vendors that are going to be there. And you can search by different categories. So you have the opportunity to say, I'm interested in learning more about diagnostics, pharma, AI script, anything and everything that is going to be out there for the most part that represents the industry. And see all of the vendors that will actually fit into that category of stuff that you're interested in learning more about. And from there, you get to just select about 30 to 40 different vendors that you'd like to have a conversation with. And vendors do the same thing on their side. And then we have our software that goes through and basically creates a matching system. And you can almost think of this like a dating site to a certain degree. So vendors are selecting their hospitals. Hospitals are selecting their vendors. Our algorithm goes into play. And whenever we have a direct one-to-one match, we make sure that that meeting ends up taking place. If that doesn't fill up every single one of your meetings, the second default is whatever the doctor selected and whoever they wanted to meet with. So doctors really have complete control over every single vendor that they would like to have a conversation with when they're at our meeting. On top of it, we're going to pay for your flight and we're going to pay for your hotel to be there. So that's how we make it the most cost-effective model that's out there. There's a $300 registration, but with that registration, like I said, it covers the flight, it covers the hotel. We have an amazing networking cocktail reception that we host opening night. And then we also provide lunches that are going to be there as well. About a month before it goes down, doctors will actually get their entire schedule of who they're going to be meeting with, the time slots on when they're going to be meeting with them. And where it comes to be, I've already talked about the most cost-effective model, but the most time-efficient model that comes into this it's very much like speed dating. So instead of you walking into a trade show floor and you're going around from booth to booth to booth to booth and trying to figure out who to talk to and map everything out, your schedule is created by you with the vendors that you want to meet with. And we put you at your own table and we make the vendors go around and meet with you. And they only have 13 minutes to make their pitch to you. And then they have 2 minutes to get up, leave, and go to their next appointment. So we really have designed this to make the doctor the center of attention, and everybody needs to go around them. And we're trying to create a very comfortable spot for them to where not only do they can control their schedule, they have their own place where the vendors have to come to them to meet with everything. But if you don't want to have a super long conversation with a vendor, which we all know when they come into your hospital and that ends up happening, it ends up dragging on for 30 minutes to an hour. They have to get up and leave in 12 minutes. So if 3 minutes in the conversation, you know this isn't for you, you can just be like, hey, do you have kids? I have kids. Let's talk about kids because I don't think this is going to work out. And you know they're going to get up and leave. So it really makes it unbelievably efficient. And vendors know they only have 12 minutes to talk to you. So they get to the point quick. They tell you exactly what they're all about, how they think they can make an impact into your practice. I think it just eliminates a whole bunch of extra busy talk that goes down, which frankly, you guys just don't have the time to deal with anymore. So I believe that we have created this unbelievable model that is going to be hopefully a huge impact and a disruptor in the industry on giving doctors the opportunity to actually go out there, meet with new vendors that they would never have thought to have met with, and then hopefully reconnect with other ones and have a great time with their peers along the way. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of what the conference is and what the why is behind it all. We're adding several new things into it this year. So we had multiple owners request if we could get them a 10-hour CE track of in-person CE, that would be extremely beneficial for them. So we're going to offer that track before the conference kicks off. We will fly you in a day ahead of time, pay for your hotel for that extra day for you to be there, for you to get your 10 hours of in-person CE. And then we had a bunch of requests, and I fought this for a long time because I wasn't trying to create a trade show floor. So we had a lot of vendors that were like, this was amazing, but if there was a way that we could actually display a lot of what we have, it would help us out. For a lot of vendors, it makes no sense whatsoever, right? Like, you don't really need to have some giant display if you're a buying group out there. It's pretty self-explanatory on what you do, and it's just an offer that you're making. So paying all that extra money for a booth doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you're a cap equipment company, maybe it does, right? Or a diagnostic. I mean, there's lots of reasons why you might need one. So we are going to create a room, and we're going to call it the Vet X room. And you can use that X for experience. You can use it for extraordinary. You can use it for all different acronyms on what we're trying to create. So we're going to allow between 40 to 50 vendor booths to be on the floor, but then we're going to bring in all of our own booths to go along with it. So I'll have one booth that will be set up like the French quarters, beignets, and lattes will be served out of there. I'll have one booth that will just be an open bar. You can go sit down. It'll be done up Mardi Gras style and have a couple of drinks and have conversations. We're going to have puppy lounges. We're going to have a wellness spot where you can go get massages if you need to go get a massage in the middle of your break. We're going to create all kinds of fun, interactive experiences to try to make this a non-stale, less stuffy, get out and be able to see what other people have to offer and have more conversations and have a good time doing it. So all super exciting. I can't wait for the event to go off. It's going to be an amazing event.
I know we have several of our DVM Mom members have signed up or applied. A couple went last year. Jamie went last year in Vegas and had a very good experience.
I mean, having seen it last year, honestly by happenstance, because I went up actually to meet another DVM mom about some other unrelated things and wound up having the privilege to stay and kind of see it. It's a very effective use of the time. I think what was most enjoyable about it, honestly, from anyone who's ever gone through trade shows and walked those big trade show floors, was that you were set up, you were camped out, you weren't, carrying everything that you had in your entire world with you, all of the notebooks, all of the things, all of the giveaways that I think people are used to, and then standing for 15 hours and, waiting in long lines at trade shows, waiting to see the right people, because that's part of it, right? You get into some of these events and They have representation out there for their small animal, their large animal, as well as other parts of the team. You're looking for the right person to connect with. What was really nice about Vet Together is the right person came to the table to connect with you. So if you needed a direct contact, they were there. They were the person that you were already discussing with, and the work had kind of been done for you. So again, as Erin said, it was a very effective use of time because you were set up, you were prepared, you were kind of in your element because it was your little speed dating table with all of your stuff. So you kind of had camped out and made yourself at home. But then the right person showed up at your doorstep to kind of have the conversation and ask what you needed as a clinician, compared to kind of an opposite format where, again, you're doing the research and you're looking for what that effectively looks like. And like Erin said, the time is very structured. It's very strategized in terms of, the vendors do move on to another table. What's nice with the reception and some of the other events, they were still out in the hallways. You could find them appropriate times at breaks if you had additional questions. Everybody was, very collegial in terms of what the format and what everything looked like. The vendors were, again, out at receptions in the evening so you could continue the conversation with the ones that you wanted. I also didn't feel like you didn't have an option to talk to other vendors. So I know that this year there'll be the exhibit hall set up, but if you wanted to talk to other companies that potentially you didn't match with, I felt like a lot of the hospitals were like, this person is over here, this person from this vendor is over here. A lot of introductions were made, again, because everybody was kind of there in the same setting with the same kind of intent because they were practice owners who were looking for the same goals. So very well organized, very well set up. I mean, as someone who's been through a lot of conferences in a very short period of time, I was very impressed with everything that I saw. And I can only imagine, with everything that's being elevated this year, that this coming years is going to be an even higher ended event.
I do want to just make sure that for DVM moms that want to attend your conference and they are owners and qualify and want to attend our conference, that we will be covering the hotel nights during your conference stay as well for them, just as another added bonus for our partnership and trying to continue to support what you guys are doing. So just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that as well.
No, and Erin, I mean, I will say that, to everyone who winds up listening, and I think we'll wind up leaving a lot of this in here, that your team, I think, really gets it, not only from the formatting of the conference and where you're heading and what that direction is, but the fact that your team has met with us after hours. You have listened and seen children running behind us, pets on this call included. You guys have been nothing but accommodating with the fact that, everybody has day jobs and we've been trying to work around the schedules, but also accommodating to, bring us in whenever this pivot was kind of thrust upon us of needing another venue and being supportive of, the moms coming in and having a space. I mean, your team has had numerous conversations with us about, allowing us to have this space for the moms to come in and do, our get-togethers and be able to network, with something that we talk to, in these individuals online all of the time, and have that, but then come in, graciously to your format, and then to extend that courtesy of the extra expense that you guys are covering while they're getting CE, with our event, quote unquote. I just don't think that we can thank you enough. And, I really want to make sure that everybody kind of knows that you guys have really gone above and beyond. And I feel like it's important for the practice owners who are watching this to know that, in terms of that's the type of experience that they're going to have at your event. Like, you guys have been approachable. I mean, I was up at the event last year. You were great to the attendees that were there. You've been great to us, as a vendor partner. And I've just seen and heard nothing but wonderful things about how you guys have interacted and what you're doing for the industry. So I hope that people, really come out to the event and get to enjoy it and experience that themselves.
Yeah. That means the world to me. And let me just say that moms are my favorite people in the world. So we are absolutely thrilled to be partnered with you guys and support you in any way possible that we can. So it's a mutual thing. So it really means
a lot, because everybody says that, but you guys really show that you mean it. And you guys have just been wonderful, welcomed us with open arms, and we're really excited.
We share a lot of the same core values and visions of what we want to do in this industry, which is why I think it makes this partnership so special, and one that I think is going to last and continue to flourish and grow And I can't wait to see what we end up doing together as a team. Like, I think it's going to be, really fun. I think it's going to be really exciting. And I think that we're all going to cause a giant disruption in all of this. And that just brings a giant smile to my face. So yeah, we're thrilled to be with you guys as well. If anybody has any questions, definitely go to our website, vettogether.com. You can learn all about our show. You can reach out to us and get any additional information you need. Thank you both. Have a wonderful evening. We'll talk soon.